Hey guys, my name's Lisha, and if you didn't know, I sell secondhand clothing on the apps Depop and Poshmark, and every month I make a video talking about what I sold and how much money I made. So today we're going to be talking about what sold in the month of March 2022. So this month I ended up selling 27 items, which has kind of become like the average for me, I'd say, between 20 and 30 items, so kind of on the higher end. 9 of those sales came from Depop, 9 of them came from Poshmark, 7 of them came from Instagram, and then 2 came from Vinted. Now the Vinted sales are so low just because I barely have anything listed there currently, so honestly the fact that 2 things sold off of Vinted is actually really good. And then you can see Depop and Poshmark are both tied, with Instagram coming in a close second. So I've definitely been doing a lot more Instagram sales recently, which I really like because you don't have to pay fees and it's like a totally different experience. It's been fun. Now just keep in mind that some things I do purchase from the thrift store or like the pay by the pound store, and then some things I do my own pickup service, so I do get a few clothes for free. So anything I did pick up from the thrift store I definitely will mention. So with that being said, let's get into what sold for March 2022. So right off the top of the month I actually sold a bundle on Depop. It was of this polo Ralph Lauren blue turtleneck and these Manisha vintage blue jeans. So the jeans I picked up from the thrift store and they actually ended up selling fairly quickly. I ended up selling that bundle for $64.98. The jeans did end up costing me $10.27. And then after all the shipping fees, Depop's fee, at the end of the day, I ended up making $29.74. So just under $15 per item, which has actually been kind of my goal profit margin recently, hitting around $15. So I'm totally happy about that. Then next up, I sold a bundle on Instagram. So I ended up selling this Quaker State racer sweater and this Toronto butterfly t-shirt. So I actually decided to do a little bit more of consignment this month, which is something I've done in the past and I kind of have mixed feelings about, because the way I do it is I split the profits 50%. So sometimes depending on the item, it's almost not worth it, but it has been a good way just to bulk up my store, especially because I've been doing weekly drops. So sometimes I don't find enough pieces at the thrift store, so I kind of need like some extra pieces to bulk it up. So that is kind of why I decided to do more consignment this month. So I ended up selling that bundle for $40. Didn't end up paying shipping because I actually sold it to one of my friends, so I just kind of dropped it off at their place. So after splitting the profits 50-50, I still ended up with $20, so about $10 per item. In this particular case, I actually made a decent profit, especially considering that I didn't have to risk anything. I didn't invest any money in these pieces, so I was happy about that. So next up, I ended up making another sale on Instagram. I ended up selling this goofy purple t-shirt. I ended up selling it for $20 and it was another consignment item. So at the end of the day, I made $10, which honestly for a t-shirt is actually really good and I was happy with that. Then next up, I made a sale on Depop for these Levi's blue shaping skinny jeans. I honestly expected these to sell more on Poshmark because they are skinny jeans. They're not the most trendy right now, but they actually ended up selling on Depop. I think somebody sent me an offer for $25, which I accepted, plus a $10 shipping. Shipping did end up being pretty expensive for these, so at the end of the day, I only made $8.20. So not a great profit, but I was still happy about it because honestly, I wasn't even sure if these are gonna sell. So next up, I actually made a sale on Vinted, my first one in a while. Like I said, I haven't been posting there and I only have a few items listed, so the fact that something sold is actually kind of surprising. But I ended up selling this Tommy Hilfiger striped color block dress, and you guys have no idea how happy I was to get rid of this item. I've had it in my inventory for literally years. So when somebody sent me an offer for $14, I just like automatically accepted it because I just wanted to get rid of this item so bad. I had so much hope for this item. Like I thought it was so cute. I thought I was picking up a good item and no one was interested until this point. Now, when I bought this item, I was honestly fairly new to reselling, so I actually paid $15.80 for it, which is pretty expensive for a dress. So at the end of the day, I actually lost $1.80, which doesn't happen to me often where I actually lose money. But you know, sometimes it happens. Should I have just held on to it until it sold for like a decent price? Probably, but honestly, I was just desperate to get rid of this one, so I'm kind of okay that it's gone now. Then next up on Depop, I sold these Stone Y2K embroidered flare jeans. I was so excited about these, and honestly, I'm surprised that they took so long to sell because they're actually getting quite popular on Depop and had quite a few likes. I think someone even made an offer on them at some point, which just like never went through, but I finally ended up selling them for $40 plus $10 shipping. I ended up picking these up at the pay by the pound store, so I paid really cheap for them. They only cost me $2.36. So at the end of the day, I made $25 $5.78, which is obviously a really good profit for a single item. So I was really happy about that and really happy to see this pair of jeans go because I just think they're so cool. Then next up, I made a couple more Instagram sales. So I ended up selling this vintage color block sweater that sold for $25. Another consignment item. So at the end of the day, I only made $12.50. So for a sweater, not the greatest profit, but you know, it's something. Like, I either sell this sweater or I don't. I either made the $12 or I didn't. I don't know, maybe I should start changing my consignment fee so it's more of like a 40-60 split, just because I am doing like all the work. I don't know, something for me to consider. But then next up on Instagram, I sold a bundle. It was of this vintage Canada ski baseball cap and this rainbow straw knit bucket hat. I picked both of those items up on my last trip to Thrift Store by the Pound, so they were super cheap. They totaled about $4.50. Shipping was actually relatively cheap too, so at the end of the day I made $24.40, which comes out to about $12 per item, so not a huge profit, but for a hat, honestly, that's pretty decent. Then next on Poshmark, made my first Poshmark sale of the month. I ended up selling a bundle of my Sunset Swan reworked jacket and these Nevada Carpenter jeans. So super happy to sell another one of my reworked jackets. It sold fairly quickly. I kind of had a feeling it would just because this one was like really cool. There's just like something special about this swan print that I found. So I ended up selling that bundle for $135. I don't sell expensive items that often, so the Poshmark fee really hit hard this time. They took $30, so that 20% definitely makes a big difference once you're selling more expensive items. Now, between the jacket, the swan tapestry that I used, and the jeans, I actually ended up spending about $50 on all three of those items. I definitely paid up a little bit for the jacket just because it was like too perfect to pass up on. So at the end of the day, I made $55.28, which comes out to about $27 per item, which honestly is really good. I'm totally happy with, even though I think my profit margin for the jacket specifically was probably a little bit smaller than normal. I was still, of course, happy to make that sale. And I just wanted to say too that the person who bought this bundle was super sweet. They're actually one of my viewers and they left like the sweetest message. It just made me so happy. So if you're watching, thank you so much. I hope you're really enjoying your items. Then next on Poshmark, I sold this Zara faux suede zip jacket. This one almost did not make the cut the last time I did an inventory clear out, so I'm glad I kept it around for a little bit longer. Somebody actually sent me an offer for $15, which I easily accepted just because I was trying to get rid of it at this point. And at the end of the day, I still made $10.53, so very happy about that. Then next up, I sold a bundle on Poshmark of this Vans waffle long sleeve and this Vans black t-shirt. Obviously, a person who really likes Vans. I think I actually created a bundle for them, so I offered them $30 for both of the items and they accepted. So at the end of the day, I made $23.22, a little bit more than $10 per item, so not a huge profit, but these items had been sitting for a while, so I was happy to move them along. Then next on Depop, I sold this Toyota race car jacket. This is probably one of my like best finds of all time, so I was really happy to see it go to a new home. Honestly, it took a little bit longer than I thought to sell. I mean, it sold pretty quickly, but I thought it would sell quicker. And I think somebody actually sent me an offer for $90 plus $10 shipping, which I accepted. I thought that was totally fair. And this is an item that I actually picked up from the Pay by the Pound store, so I got super lucky finding this because I only paid $4.83 for this item, which is obviously a really good price. Now, shipping was pretty pricey, so at the end of the day, I made $57.45, so kind of a little bit less than I was expecting, but obviously still totally happy about that. And this is definitely my highest profit margin of the month for a single item by far. Then next on Depop, I sold this Career Elements blue vintage floral maxi skirt. This one was super cute. I really like this one. I actually ended up getting one wear out of it before I sent it off, so I was happy about that. Once again, another item that actually one of my viewers purchased. Super sweet. They actually sent me an offer for $26 plus $20 shipping just because they are located in the US, which I thought was totally fair. I accepted it. The skirt did cost me $6.31 when I picked it up at the thrift store, so at the end of the day, I made $18.31, which I was totally happy about. And if the viewer's watching, I really hope you enjoy this skirt. It's a good one. Then next on Poshmark, I sold this old navy gray t-shirt dress. This is like a super random item that was a part of my wardrobe and I was just getting rid of it, and realistically I should have just like donated it because it was like hardly worth my time. But like items like these, I rather just sell for like really cheap online, knowing that someone's purchasing it like with the intent to wear it Whereas if I donated this, like a plain gray t-shirt dress, like I feel like that's just not gonna end up selling at the thrift store. So when somebody sent me an offer for $10, I was like, sure thing. And at the end of the day, I only made $5.53. But for an item that I was really just trying to get rid of, I was totally happy with that. Okay, so I somehow completely forgot and skipped over this item, so I'm just going to include it here really quickly, but I ended up selling this Nova Scotia vintage green floral t-shirt. This one actually ended up selling on Instagram for $15 plus $5 shipping. I actually offered letter mail shipping for this one just because it was so small, so that's why shipping ended up being super cheap. And if you guys remember from this thrift haul, I did buy this shirt from the thrift store, but I actually ended up getting it for free because the cashier forgot to scan it. So at the end of the day, I made $16.40 off of this item, which was honestly really good, especially for a t-shirt. Then next up on Depop, I sold a bundle. It was a bundle of this Australia hoodie and this Misty Mountain fleece. I ended up selling both of those items in a bundle for $55 with free shipping. The one sweater did cost me $7.22 at the thrift store. So at the end of the day, I made $24.42. So not a huge profit per item, but I was still okay with that. Then next on Depop, I ended up selling these Tommy Hilfiger bright blue jeans. These were really cool because they had that like classic Tommy patch on the back, but because of their bright color, I wasn't really sure how they would do, but they ended up selling pretty quickly. Somebody offered me $30 plus $10 shipping, which I accepted. And this was another one of those consignment items. So at the end of the day, I only made $9.60. So not a huge profit for a pair of jeans, but like I said before, it's still money in my pocket that like I wouldn't have had otherwise. Me again, yeah, I somehow skipped over another item, so we're just gonna include it again. But I ended up selling this H&M kind of like turtleneck tunic sweater. Typically, I don't sell H&M just because it just never gets any interest, never does well for me. But I don't know, something about this piece, I saw something in it, and it was actually getting quite a few likes on Poshmark. Someone ended up offering me $12, which I accepted. So at the end of the day, I made $7.50. Not a huge profit, but I was happy with that. Then next, I actually made another Vinted sale. So I ended up selling these Tokyo Laundry blue denim shorts. This one honestly really surprised me. Like, there had been no previous interest on this item, so I was really happy to see that they just randomly sold. But I sold those for $20. If you didn't know, Vinted does not have any fees, so you pretty much just make like 100% profits. And because I didn't buy this item at the thrift store, I walked away with 20 bucks. So that was actually a really good profit margin for that item that I really wasn't expecting to see it sell. And it is good to know that people are starting to buy shorts. I remember last year, I think pretty much as soon as the weather got warm, I think it was like the beginning of May, that's when I saw a really big boom in shorts. So I'm starting to like slowly stock up a little bit on shorts and then release them a little bit closer to when it gets warmer. Still trying to figure out exactly when the right time to do that is. Maybe sooner than I think. Then next on Poshmark, I sold this American Apparel corduroy skirt. Oh my god. Another item that I've literally been trying to sell for years. So when somebody sent me an offer for $14, I accepted it super quickly. Once again though, another consignment item. So at the end of the day, I actually only made $4.77. Probably my worst margin of the month, besides the one where I lost money. But like I said, at this point, I was really just trying to get rid of this item. I almost cut it out of my last inventory clear out, but I thought to myself, let me just hang it on for a little while longer, and it ended up selling. And then the very last sale of the month was actually these Wrangler vintage jeans, which was actually a nice little surprise to see those sell at the end of the month. They weren't getting as much attention on Depop as I thought, so I was getting a little bit worried, but they ended up selling for $40 on Poshmark. I did actually pick these up from the Pay by the Pound store, so I got them for pretty cheap at $4.83. So at the end of the day, I made $26.13, which I was super happy about. For jeans lately, I have been trying to hit more of like a $20 profit margin mark. So I was totally happy about that. So that is everything I ended up selling for March. As per usual, I'm going to go ahead, add everything up, and we're going to see how much money I made for this month. Okay, so this month I actually ended up making $407.99. So definitely a little bit less than the last couple of months, but still really good. And so my average profit per item actually ended up coming to $15.11. Which is my goal, so happy about that. So yeah, definitely a pretty good month. I think because I did so much consignment, that did kind of lower my profits quite a bit. And then as for my sell-through rate, I actually ended up listing 30 items this month, which is actually the exact same amount as last month, funnily enough. Did not plan that. So that means I have about a 90% sell-through rate, which obviously is really, really good. It means that I'm selling almost as much inventory as I'm listing. So I'm definitely going to try to keep up a little bit more with demand this month and try to source a few more extra items if I can, especially summer items. But yeah, overall really good month. I don't think there has been really any major updates across any of the platforms or like anything else to report. But I think we are in a bit of like a slow season right now, so I'm hoping sales pick up a little bit more in April. And it's been on my to-do list for such a long time, but I do want to continue cross-listing to Vinted, just because clearly like the fact that I haven't touched it for like months and it's still making sales, like that's a pretty good sign. So definitely gonna try to do that in the near future. But anyways guys, I think that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and saw a little bit of insight into, you know, what kind of things are selling right now and at what prices. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.